guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you're about to see here. In today's video, I am going to finally do an update on my sinking funds and color in some of my charts. So I'm pretty excited to do that because it's been, you know what? We're gonna find out in 1 second. This is my budget planner, first of all. This is a Happy Planner Big in the 18-month version from 2019. And so that's still in here. It has a couple more months to go. Before that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna switch it out or if I'm gonna stick with this system. I really was enjoying it for the majority of this year. But if you guys have been with me for a while, you guys know that I like to switch things up and have fresh starts and all that fun stuff. So I have to give that a little bit of thought. So meanwhile, inside here, the nice thing about this is I have some of my charts, and included in those charts, this is an old debt payoff, so I keep it just for posterity. I like to look back on this and see how far I've come so I don't ever get myself into a situation like that again. And let's see, when did I do this? It looks like it was August 25th. Yeah. Okay, so August 25th was the last time I updated, and unfortunately, this is my Christmas Club fund. I don't have anything to add to this, so I'm still holding strong at $1,000. I'm going to put in my screenshot to show you guys my separated checking accounts that hold my different sinking funds. I do use Capital One for this, and I love it because underneath one Capital One checking account, I think you can have something like 20 checking accounts, and you can name them all something different, and you can add to them differently and just track them differently. And I think that is so helpful for anybody who has individualized or specified savings accounts or savings goals or sinking funds. It just makes life so much easier if you decide to go digital. So on Christmas Club, I don't have anything. Next, this is my emergency fund divider. I do have to talk to you guys about this one. Now, this one is a bit of a disappointment, but not really. So I have decided to use the majority of this money and disperse it amongst my other sinking funds. And you may be wondering, why are you doing that? I don't know. I just thought that it was a good idea in the moment. What happened was, I think around September 5th or so, Capital One pays out the interest, which is really nice. So if you do have a savings account with them, you can look forward to monthly interest. So I got the interest, and my balances then became decimally, I like to say, and they weren't round numbers. And that for some reason just bothers me, especially if I have to look at it a lot. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit from the PUG fund and I'm going to add it to the emergency fund just to bring it up to a whole number. Well, I really liked how that looked. So I know you guys are probably thinking that's so petty and just so unnecessary. And it really is. But like I said, I just like seeing round zeros and having everything be really basic as far as my balances. So I did that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that with all the funds. I'm going to bring them up and make them whole, make them nice round numbers. And when I started doing that, I just started kind of moving more money, and you don't get penalized from Capital One. You can move money around from checking account to checking account as much as you want, no problem, or savings account. And you can move it from your checking too. But it's really nice and super easy. So what I did was I ended up moving 430 of these dollars into my other accounts. So the balance here, unfortunately, has gone down to $100. However, I did not lose any of that money. So if you look back on my old balances, if you want to check out my old sinking fund videos or the one from August 25th, it looks like that's when I updated it, you'll see, you know, that the numbers will add up. They will make sense. But I did not spend any of this money because, as I told you guys in previous videos, I really don't want to pull from these as far as spending goes until I reach my goals. So as you can see here, my goal for the pugs was $1,000, and I was more than halfway there at $530, but I just didn't make it and I took this down. So I'm not going to get rid of this. I left $100 in this fund, and I think that is just fine. So I've drawn a little line here because we are back at $100. So here I'm going to write $9.15, okay? And again, it's not really that big of a deal. I still have the money. It's just not where it originally was. So that explains the Pug Fund. Next, let's move on to the savings fund. So savings has gone up to $26.70. Now, that's not quite enough to bring me up to another square to color in. So I don't have anything to color in here. Unfortunately, as you can see, I was at $2,600 on August 25th, and my next block that I can color in is $2,700 even. So I'm at $26.70. I'm very close to being there, but not quite. So I don't have anything to color in here. This is just status quo, so I'm going to not bother with this one and leave it alone. Now, where I did make some progress, if we can just switch back, is the emergency fund. And I've talked to you guys about this before too. This is my most concerning, my most important fund to me, because my husband ended up losing his job, and I had a pay cut. So I've lost $400 a month in my paycheck, and who knows, with the way things are going, you know, if we have another round of layoffs, I don't think I would survive it, unfortunately. You know, and that's just kind of preparing for the worst in that kind of mindset, which I know I shouldn't do. I do try to stay pretty positive, but I also have to be realistic. So I decided to start this emergency fund quite some time ago when I started all these, when I started to streamline my sinking funds. And at that time, I decided that I only needed 4. And that was the dogs, the Christmas club, the savings, and the emergency. So the emergency, I wanted it to be roughly 6 months worth of my salary, which was right around $18,000. Not quite, but again, I like whole numbers, so I left it there. Now, somebody did mention, you know, maybe you should round it up to just a flat 20,000. That would be nice. I mean, if I could get closer to here, I probably would reassess my goals, because I think that it's important to revisit and reassess very often. You don't have to wait until you meet a goal to do that. You know, I think that it's good just to kind of take a look at your numbers at least once a month and see where you're at and see where your goals still are. And if you are on track, if you are falling behind, or if you're even a little bit ahead of the game. So I think that's really important. So for the emergency fund, I am now at $10,300. So I have to say, it feels great to be more than halfway there. I was a little bit more than halfway there last time, but if I did redo my goal to be 20,000, I'd still be a little bit better than halfway there. So I'm really, really pleased and excited with that. Now, some of that money came from my pay. It just came from, you know, after everything is said and done and I have any money left over, I usually kind of plan to reallocate it somehow. And it also came from moving a little bit of the Pug money around. So I am going to happily color in these squares here. And it's so satisfying, and I decided to go with a highlighter because I love using these little mini highlighters. These are linked below along with other products that I use or talk about often in my videos. These are by Two Hands, and they're just like these little tiny mini ones that are like really chunky. They're super cute. So anyways, I'm using this mint color, and it's really nice and super easy to color in these squares, you know, as opposed to a colored pencil, which I still like using colored pencils, but this is also a nice change. So 2 strokes and the block is colored. So yeah, that's where I'm at, $10,300. Now I have also added to my taxes, and you guys will be able to see that if you took a look at that screenshot. That is higher than last time. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't think it really matters. I don't have a chart for my tax savings. And the reason why I'm saving some of my taxes, if you're new to my channel, just to explain it, my side hustle or my side gig or my side income is delivering for Grubhub. And that's something I started I guess right around the time I was getting a pay cut, or I knew I was getting a pay cut. Maybe even a little bit prior to that. I can't even remember. I feel like I've been doing it for a long time though. But anyways, Grubhub does not take taxes out for you. So they pay you just like, for instance, Google pays a YouTuber. They give you the whole amount that you earn and they leave it to you as, you know, somebody like an entrepreneur or a business owner. They leave it to you to deal with your taxes and figure out what withholdings you need to consider and do. So that is why I have a tax fund, and I'm sure I am falling a bit short on that, but honestly, I'm not worried about it because I've said this before in my videos too. We do get a refund every year, and I know that the first thing that will happen is any excess taxes that I owe that I didn't save for, it will come out of the refund that we would have gotten. So I think that is going to work out just fine. Here is my biggest, I guess, accomplishment for last month, I would say. It's been 20 days, 21 days, and I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's as good as can be expected. August and September are not great months for us, and I just, you know, still doing the best I can with these. I'm just not able to fund them as heavily as before. Also, in August, I did get quite ill. I had pneumonia, and so I wasn't able to do the side income as much or bring in as much side income. So, yeah, that kind of put me back a little bit, or it just didn't allow me to get as much ahead. The Christmas Club, my goal was 1,500, and that didn't mean I wanted to have that by December 25th. It meant that I really wanted to have that like around the time of Thanksgiving weekend, Black Friday weekend. I know Black Friday is going to look very different this year because of COVID, so I'm not sure what the stores have in store or what they're going to be doing. Of course, Cyber Monday might actually become Cyber Friday, Cyber Weekend, who knows? So things are changing, and we're just going to have to kind of roll with it and just go with the flow and see what happens. But I wanted to be at 1,500 by that weekend because I wanted to be able to get all of our shopping done ahead of time. I say this every single year. I always start to Christmas shop early, but with the anticipation of finishing early. But what usually happens is I start early and then I am Christmas shopping up until Christmas Eve, no joke. And I don't know why I do that to myself, but I do. I buy something for someone and then I see something like 3 weeks later and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to add it to it, you know, and I'm just kind of one of those Christmas shoppers. And I just never, once I start early, I just don't let it end, I guess. So maybe the right thing to do is let this build until maybe the second week of December and start Christmas shopping then and just be done. I don't know. I have to kind of give that some thought, but yeah, maybe this is the year to change that up too. We'll see. So that is my progress. That's my coloring. I'm not going to color in my old bullet journal. It's not really old, but you guys know that I am transitioning into my navy blue one that I wanted to start for September, and I do have some different thoughts about that as well. I haven't really gotten into it too much, but I think what I've decided to do is leave out the whole calendaring module from my bullet journal. Now that may seem, you know, counterproductive. You know, a whole thing about bullet journaling is, you know, to keep you on track or to do your planning. But honestly, I have a planner and I'm happy with my happy planner, and I'm not sure that I need another entire calendar in another notebook. So I'm thinking maybe the best way that I can use that notebook is, or journal, is for other information. So I love to track things. I love to make lists. I love to do things like that. So I think that would just afford me more opportunity, and this is the one I'm talking about. I think it would afford me more opportunity to actually pay attention to tracking other information and capturing that, so I have it. My next journal, I know it, and even if I just ask for Christmas from my family, is going to be an Archer and Olive. I just keep looking at videos of those and they're so beautiful. This is similar, but it's not quite Archer and Olive. Now, it's not that I have to be like so specific or whatever. It's just this a really beautiful line of journals. The colors are gorgeous, and I think we all have our preferences. But for now, this one is going to carry me through to the end of 2020, and hopefully by then I have my brand new art journal olive to start January 2021 with. So that's my goal anyway. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this update and coloring in of my sinking funds. I enjoyed doing it. I always like to see where I'm at with these things, and seeing them in color really gives me a boost of motivation. I don't know, I am a very visual person, and even though I can look at my Capital One app and see where everything's at financially, I still like to write things in, you know, in pen on paper and just track them and look at them there too. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and of course I hope I see you guys in my next video. Take care.